All right, we are going straight to Mayor Dylan Rumrell. He is, of course, the mayor of the beach, St. Augustine Beach. Mayor Rumrell, thank you for joining us this morning.
Hey, good morning, y'all. Happy, I guess it's what, weekend eve or something like that, Troy? Is that what we call Thursday?
It's weekend eve.
There you go. All right, good deal.
Wow, they got a good picture of you up, too.
They do. They got a fancy picture of you up there on screen, Dylan. This is great.
You look good in the morning.
Hopefully it's appropriate for people this morning.
Well, that's appropriateness is a toss-up here on our show, Mayor.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, you're not in a Speedo. You're fine.
That's
okay.
right.
Woo. Thank you, Troy, for not putting that one up.
Whew, I got you.
So let's talk about this news that really caught traction yesterday. There was a post put out that there may be some big changes coming to not only Anastasia State Park, but parks around the state. And in talking to you yesterday, I was surprised to find out that this was a total shock to you, your fellow commissioners, and many people up the ladder, even in our state houses and state senate.
They didn't even know at the park.
They didn't even know at the park,
They
really?
didn't know at the park.
Wow.
Man, Pete, it was amazing. My phone started blowing up with the same message that everybody else saw. Is I saw it at the same time, right? It came out around 6:00 on Tuesday night, saying, "Hey, in a week from today, there's talking about a 350-room hotel, pickleball, disc golf, all this other stuff at Anastasia State Park." And I'm thinking, okay, I know there's been a lot of campaign rhetoric going on, but this wins the prize, right? This is the
right.
You got me, April Fools, whatever you want to call it. And then I started doing some research on it, and man, it's legit. And I was just shocked that anybody from the county side to the local city of St. Augustine, to St. Augustine Beach, to the amphitheater, right? Because I sit on the board of the amphitheater and the concert hall. Nobody knew what was going on. So I was like, all right, let me call over to the state delegation. That's still our delegation until November.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, hey, what are y'all hearing? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh my God, you don't know about this? And again, nobody knew what was going on. And it was eye-shattering that not even our state delegation, the Speaker of the House, had no idea that this was happening.
But this is real, right? I mean, when you say things like that, a lot of people are out there thinking, well, maybe we all got. Did we all get got here? Or
no, they've actually have a firm from Hilton Head that's helping design the hotel for it. Is what they didn't even come locally for that.
Wow.
So they went that far, and and I texted like Dylan actually called because he's important. I texted the delegation. They're like, I don't see this. I was like, okay, you guys better get on it because somebody's pushing this through.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, have you been able to kind of find out? I know you've been trying to do your best to dig into this, Mayor Rumrell, but have you found out anything since yesterday that might be important for people to know?
Yeah. So late yesterday evening, I had a great conversation with Senator Hudson about it, and it's going to the governor. Right, the governor didn't even know about it. So later today, the chief of staff and probably people from Florida Department of Environmental Protection and everybody's going to probably sit down. My understanding was this started at another state park. I'm not sure which state park this really started at, and it was pushed by some local commissioners who were trying to figure out revenue generating for the state parks, right? And look, the state park numbers are down, but look, the first thing I learned in business in college was supply and demand, right? So if you're charging $30 a night for campers, charge $60 a night, right? They book out a year in advance. So there's ways to think outside the box without, clear cutting, pulling things down, doing all the things that you normally do when you do development. Don't do it in a state park, right? This is a sacred state park that was brought and kept into preservation. It's kind of like, hey, why don't we build a 350-room hotel in Guana, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Right, and it's shocking that it's coming from the Department of Environmental Protection, too. Yeah. I mean, that's just unbelievable to me.
Very contradictory.
It's unreal. So I'm sure you're going to see some heads roll, right? I think somebody's gone. What I was told last night is that the elected officials that were bringing up this idea got unelected, rightfully so, probably because people are like, wait a minute, they want to do what?
Wow.
So I think you'll hear something come out of Tallahassee. I hope, man, today or tomorrow, Monday at the latest, and hopefully this thing becomes a moot point. And the governor did a great job of cleaning up the Everglades, preserving the Everglades. So I don't see Governor DeSantis pushing this. I know, God, I think it was Speaker Thrasher back in the day. There was something similar about this, and that got shut down because, look, the state parks always could use more revenue, right? But by putting in 350-room hotels, by the impact that puts on, the obviously the conservation of what state parks have, it is a bad idea.
Right.
And so just think outside the box, people. We're all smart enough people. There's people much smarter than me that can think of stuff like this. But I'm hoping, Pete, that by the next day or two, next 48 hours, I think you may see something come out that says, okay, we heard you. We're going to cancel this. Let's revisit something later on.
Mayor, I got a question for you, like a technical question, because the state park starts in the city and then it goes into the county and then it goes into the city again. What jurisdiction would this fall under? Because I mean the south part of it's in your jurisdiction there, middle part's in the county, and the upper part where the entry is in the city. How would that affect this?
Well, that's a great question. I'm guessing, Troy, that because it is a state park, that the jurisdiction would be probably the state. Now to get probably permits, because look, anytime you build anywhere, you got to get permits. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing you'd probably have to get permits from all three jurisdictions, depending on where they're going to put it, right? Like there's been some maps put out there that shows kind of an idea of where the pickleball courts are going to be, or the disc golf, and then the hotel. I think that sits probably in the city of St. Augustine, mm-hmm. Not St. Augustine Beach, but I believe that it just like any other development, you're going to have to go through the jurisdiction and get building permits. So look, I mean, they would have to go to all three, and then all three of us potentially could deny it and would deny it. That's my hope, right? So I don't think we're going to get that far. I really do believe that something will come about this. I think there's been enough public outcry. It's not like it's just Anastasia State Park, right? Initially, a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, why they pick St. Augustine? This is some sort of cartel that's doing this, and it's behind the scenes and all this stuff." And this is really not this conspiracy theory. Except the only conspiracy theory is that no one knew about it, and it's statewide. Nobody statewide knew about it, probably except the location where these commissioners were that got unelected.
Right. It boggles my mind that one commission made this decision, and all of a sudden the Department of Environmental Protection says, okay, well, we're not going to only do this here, but we're going to pick a bunch of other random state parks and do this out there. It came out of nowhere, and really shocked me to hear it came out of nowhere for you all as well. I mean, nobody else, your fellow commissioners didn't know about it. Nobody knew about it.
And
nobody knew about it.
Dylan, I'm going to ask you to put on your amphitheater hat a little bit.
Sure.
There was a fire station that was supposed to go across the street there, and it got denied because of traffic and some of the other things. 350 rooms, and adding this to the state park, where that curves at concurrency wise, won't that affect the amphitheater and the traffic?
Oh my God, it would be devastating for the amphitheater, right? And so there's park and ride shuttles from the state park, Troy, as you know, right? Mm-hmm. And so all that would disappear, all the, the concurrency of the traffic. It's really, if you think about it, the location, and I'm kind of, looking at the photos that people have posted online and stuff like that, that's on the FVDP website and stuff like that. But if you look at it, it's what I remember as a younger adult when I was at Flagler. It was called kind of like the Sacred Dunes, right? And that's kind of that area behind the amphitheater going east, right? So if you're walking up the main entrance of the amphitheater to the right, where kind of the I guess where the trailers and trucks park at the end of the night, Troy, in the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's over on that side. And those are what we used to call sacred dunes. And I don't know what made them sacred, but we always called them sacred dunes.
Anastasia Titmouse.
Okay, then that's what it is. So
and that's a real
from
thing.
The mice or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's so tiny.
Okay.
Yep. And so that area there is where they showed it. So where does that dump out at, Troy? That dumps out into the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have this logistical nightmare of, I mean, you imagine the traffic that it's already a weird in and out off of A1A, right? It's at that curve. You got the surf station. You got all the stuff right there. I mean, could you imagine 350 room hotel and what trips that make? And just to kind of give you an idea, the Royal Pacific Hotel at Universal Studios, this huge Gleameth Hotel at Universal's, I think is 600 rooms. So it's more than half the size of that hotel at Universal Studios, just to kind of give everybody a perspective.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it would be the largest hotel here. Our largest hotel in our portfolio is around 120 rooms.
And you guys have some big hotels. Yeah.
We're the biggest hotel here in town. And, it's too much. And, we talked about preservation of land and stuff like that earlier in the week. This is just a slap in the face to that.
Yeah. And that's why I got to believe that it's going to get nixed. Could you imagine if anybody had any political aspiration at that level, what they wanted to do next? This would be blood on your hands.
Yeah.
And because it's not just St. Johns County, right? You'd be like, oh, it's just St. Augustine. Short memories, people forget. No, this is a statewide that will follow you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Mayor Rumrell, if this does not get nixed, you're hoping within the next 48 hours, if that does not end up happening, what's the course of action for residents in St. Johns County? I mean, I would imagine first step is making your voice heard at this meeting. It doesn't sound like there will be a whole lot of opportunity for that, but then, you mentioned the jurisdictions. Do people just need to be getting in touch with commissioners if this ball keeps rolling and saying, hey, we don't want this? Is that the next step?
Yeah. The answer is always advocacy gets people's attention, right? So I would call everybody, reach out to everybody. I'd reach out to Tallahassee. I would email our delegation. They still represent us until November. Mm-hmm. So I would reach out to Cindy Stevenson, Travis Hudson, Renner. I would reach out I would send emails to the governor's office. I'd send emails to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. I would reach out to everybody and anybody, because my understanding is that this presentation, by the way, which is happening at each location that the state parks are in, is for 1 hour. There's no question and answer, and there's time maybe for public comment, but it's only 1 hour, start to finish. So it's very much you can come, but I mean, I can only imagine there being, 500,000 people there, right? And it's at the technical college, that probably can only hold a couple hundred people. So you're going to have, I've talked to people yesterday that are going to make signs. They're going to stand outside. They're going to really put the full court press on. And look, I'm for it. Do it peacefully, do it right. And just, keep reaching out to everybody you can. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm sending my emails over. I'm trying to call people that I know over in Tallahassee and saying, hey, look, this is a bad, bad, bad idea.
How much money do you think they've already spent? I mean, if I'm looking at these drawings, someone had to make those drawings. Someone had to do this, some type of engineering or something, and they have 9 of these. How much money do you think the state has already spent on? I mean, to me, this sounds like just a huge waste right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good question, Troy. I mean, I'm not in the business, so I don't know what, plans and all that stuff cost, but I can't imagine it being cheap. Mm-hmm. And which makes you think too that someone knew about this long before before 2 days ago, right?
Yeah.
So this has been going on. This has been happening for quite some time. I think more information will come out. I think I think we'll find out more things here. Again, my hope is the next 48 hours or so by Monday, right? Business days. I'm just hoping that people look at this holistically and do what's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you're right that it is going to be a more than packed house out at the technical college on Tuesday if this thing continues. But it's good to know that we've got folks like you fighting for what our residents want here on the beach and in St. Johns County. And Mayor Rumrell, we appreciate you taking some time with us this morning to kind of fill us in and give us a bigger picture on this issue that just everybody's been talking about over the past couple of days. We appreciate your time.
Hey man, it's my pleasure. And if I didn't enjoy what I did, I wouldn't do it. And I'm just thankful for the support and friends like y'all. So I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Mayor
Rumrell.
Thank you,
filling us in this morning. It was shocking to talk to him yesterday and find out that really nobody at a legislative level, commissioners, state senators and representatives had no idea about this either. Even the governor apparently had no idea about this. And we're learning this morning from Mayor Rumrell that this came from, it originated in one city commission and I guess Department of Environmental Protection, which is also just another weird element of this. Just picked it up and ran with it and said, we're going to do this in multiple parks and we're not really going to tell anybody until it's almost too late. So, like we've been talking about all week, people are smart. People understand what's going on. And then people found this and really picked up on it. And I think they're going to have a hard time ramming this through at this point if people show up and make sure, to oppose this. Boy, it'd be hard for me to want to let the Department of Environmental Protection get a word in at this meeting. They seem like they don't want to let people talk. I would almost be of the mindset of, well, we're going to talk anyway. We will talk over you if we have to. Again, you want to do that in a peaceful and mostly respectful manner,
but firm.
But firm. But delivering a point, and I think signs are probably a good idea. I think if you can't get in, hang out for the hour outside with signs, with whatever you got to do. But I think we need to make the point very, very clear. If this doesn't get nixed in the next 48 hours, that people here do not want this at all. Very interesting. Very interesting how this kind of popped up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can tell you, I would not be shocked. Like the mayor was saying, if this goes away
right
prior and that meeting gets canceled, because it sounds to me like, and when I texted, everybody I contacted, they're like, we found out the same time you did. We found out the same time you did. And every legislation, everybody's phone was blowing up. It was like just no one had it on their radar.
And that's unacceptable from the Department of Environmental Protection. It really is. I mean, that should absolutely not be the case. That everybody, including all the way up the political ladder, finds out about it at the same time from Facebook posts.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and there's some money that's been spent here.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Troy. The renderings, the research that it went to each of these spots.
You got to times what they did here by 9.
Right.
I mean, that's the crazy part.
Yeah.
That it wasn't just here. It was 9 different places. It's one thing, little old St. Augustine, no one really had their eye on it. But we're talking 9 different state parks.
Have they said anything? Has anyone said anything from other communities? Have you heard any rumblings anywhere?
I've been growling,
all we care about is
this one so much.
Yeah.
I haven't really
yeah.
Looked into it, because I mean, there's a concurrency issue. That curve can't handle more traffic. It's already a dangerous curve.
It makes zero sense here.
It's already a dangerous curve,
no
and that's where the they're putting some more stuff. So I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think people, if given that option now between the fire station and this 350 room resort, I mean, I think a fire station there would be a much better option. But obviously, that's not on the table for the same concerns, for the same reasons, traffic and congestion. It just doesn't make sense there. But I hope this gets nixed. I have to imagine in other communities they are up in arms about this, just like we are. I have not seen a single comment or a single post online from anybody who lives in any of these areas that said, yeah, we can't wait. Give us a hotel, take the trees down, and displace the wildlife just so we can have more money coming into the state parks. You got to get creative sometimes.
Well, and people know the business we're in. I mean, 350 rooms is, I don't think the beach can handle that kind of market. And Embassy Suites, if I was them, I'd be like, my head would be blowing up.
Yeah,
because that's direct competition with them.
Yeah.
So I mean, we have a couple out on the island. I mean, we have 2 two on the island close there, which would hurt that those two hotels. But the fact that no one's even communicated.
What if they don't back down, and what if they renegotiate, say, okay, maybe 120 rooms or something? That still wouldn't be appropriate in my mind.
I still think the location and putting something out there in general is just not the right move.
The only thing, like I think I said yesterday,
State Park
was like possibly doing a couple little cabins or some glamping or something with. I mean, because they do
or nothing.
They do well. They have to update some of the things that they have out there.
Then do bug spray. I mean,
no, that doesn't work, Davey. They
have to do something. Really, it's just
to bring in money. Is what they're talking about. This is the reason for this.
Sustainable.
Yeah.
Do a 5K and a bake sale. I mean, they can do something other than like take it all down. That's all I'm concerned about.
No. I mean, there's campsites there that need to be updated. There's facilities there that need to be updated. They have to stay sustainable and meet those criteria. But if you want to have a couple cabins, you want to do a couple glamping tents or something along those lines. Okay, I get that. 350 is not the answer.
Right.
And disc golf is not going to bring in enough revenue.
Sorry. Yeah.
Well, they're coming from across the globe to come to St. Augustine for our premier disc golf courses
and LARPing convention.
I don't understand how pickleball is going to create revenue.
Right.
We already have.
They seem like just amenities for the resort.
We have 20 free pickleball courts all over the county. Oh no, we're going to pay to go to yours.
Right.
Yeah, beautiful luxury.
Yeah. No, we need some more creativity here from the Department of Environmental Protection.
Yeah.
Can't stress that enough. It's just so weird that a destructive plan like this would come from the Department of Environmental Protection.
Well, I'm just shocked how no one knew. I mean,
right.
And I left here, and I have a great relationship. I have a great relationship with Dylan and with Gabe. And I called Gabe. I was like, what? He goes, I found out when you did. I was like, when the state people? He's like, they found out the exact same time too.
Yeah.
So because he's
got crazy.
He's got the relationship with the people at the state park too. They didn't even know.
Yeah.
People working in there didn't even know.
That's nuts that a group would really just try to ram this through with no notice. I mean, it seems like they gave the bare minimum notice they could have possibly given, probably legally, to have meetings and inform people on this. But I hope the mayor is right that there just is so much public backlash and outcry that they say, whoa, let's put the brakes on this and rework plans and see if we can come up with something better.
Yeah.
But very interesting. I mean, obviously, you can see the point where they need to make revenue. They need to be sustainable, but this ain't it.
I can tell you this project, and it's hard enough to do a project. This project stretches across 3 jurisdictions. Each one of them has their own building, their own concurrency, their own there is not a developer in the world that would go, okay, I'm going to take on this one.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't pass the sniff test, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure we're not going to be the only ones watching this very, very closely in the next 48 hours to see how that shakes out. But if this meeting still does take place on Tuesday, I'm planning it being at this thing, and I would imagine there's a lot of people watching that are planning on being at that as well.